Welcome to Deep Thought. Stand back and think about a situation. I'm going to tell you what, when stuff is going to come up, don't respond right away unless you absolutely positively have to. There are some situations you're going to have a split second response, but most situations aren't. It could be whether or not to deal with another person for a romantic relationship, friendship, business partnership, whatever. Or it could be a situation that just happens. Try to stay calm no matter what and think about it. Because, see, one of the things people might respond emotionally to something real quick without trying to see the big picture. Staying calm is powerful. Being at peace is powerful. It's very powerful. And that's one of the things that you want to really cultivate in yourself, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. One of the things, and I've cultivated this within myself. I've cultivated, and I don't have any problem saying that. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it'll work. No matter what happened, it was like you don't get angry or you don't respond. Be like, how some people, something happened. They like, oh my God. It was like, hold up. No matter what the situation is, sit back and say, oh, okay, wait a minute. Start thinking about it. Like I'll say sometimes, think on this, right? Think on this situation. Because then you can start thinking, okay, you got this happening. What are the options? I don't care what it is, right? What are the options, right? Whether let's use relationships, for example, right? I remember I was at a party with this woman and she was bougie. She had invited me. She had called me several times. Then when I showed up, she acted funky. She was that bougie, right? So instead of getting mad at her, I just sat there for a second and said, okay, wait a minute. Now, this is before GPS and all of that. There was someplace else I could have been. It was a New Year's Eve party, and I was like, damn, okay, I need to go someplace. We didn't have cell phones then. Or people did have cell phones. They had those big, ginormous things and stuff. But I didn't get mad or anything. I just sat there and thought. I was like, well, my solution was, okay, I'm there. I might as well have a good time regardless of how funky she acted, right? And then it was funny. She saw me interacting with the other people, like the other bougie people there and everything. And she's like, oh, he cool. Couldn't get rid of her the rest of the night. So, but then I didn't respond. I wasn't angry. I wasn't anything. I just responded in a very cool and calm manner. Like any situation that comes up, don't get angry. Don't get angry. Like it could be, I don't know, your car or something. You get in an accident or, I remember one time with my car, it had a bad battery in it. It had a bad battery. Because when I had my stroke, I wasn't driving my car. It was sitting in the garage. The battery eventually went down. And then, got another battery from, I ain't going to say the organization. They came out. I'll just say they came out, but they didn't give me a proper battery. I ain't found out for a few months later. And even then, when I saw the problem, I just took it by and say, well, hold up. Y'all gave me this battery. Well, I didn't even know what the problem was. And they say it was the battery. But I wasn't upset or anything. I just say, oh well. Usually I'd be like, yeah, okay. I'd be real calm about stuff because I learned that. Because when people respond all passionately and everything, they usually miss out on the solutions. In fact, the problem, it creates some negativity. Remember in my previous episode on here, I talked about replacing a negative thought with a positive thought, but a lot of times when you just react instead of sitting back and saying, okay, how can I solve this problem? That becomes a problem for you because you miss out on the solution. See, when you sit back and think about a situation, then you can think about how to solve it. And your mind, you can go over several options. It was like, okay, I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this. Now, if it's a situation where you can't think about it, look at it like this. You're learning something. So if it comes up again, then you can solve it. This is what you need to do so it don't happen again. But even that, you need to sit back and say, hold up, what's happening here, you know? And I'm gonna tell you what though, a lot of times when situations happen, we get upset. We stress ourselves out because we're not sitting back and thinking. We're responding right away. In fact, that's what sometimes the theys want you to do. They don't want you to think. Shoot, they want you to be all upset and stuff. They purposely doing it. You know, they committing like spiritual warfare against you. I ain't gonna even say psychic warfare, spiritual warfare. They trying to mess up your spirit and everything. And you know, you like, nah. Because one of the things, if you can stay cool and calm, you can really think about it. You just like, oh wait, a situation happened. You stay cool and calm, you come up with like 10 solutions to the problem. Because you're thinking about it. It was like, oh, I could do this, or I could do this. Or, you know, even sometimes you might just say, you know, this wasn't a bad thing because then it caused me to look at this, you know, no matter what. No matter what. And I've seen people do that. That's one thing I've seen relatives do that, you know. I've seen relatives do that. I've seen so much. And that's the thing, because they stand back. Sometimes you got to stand back and just stand back, be at peace with it, be at peace. Look at the situation, look at all the angles, you know. Sometimes you might, you know what, sometimes you might be like, you know, that's a good thing. Like people who have done that, people who stand back, they're just like, you know, that wasn't a bad thing, you know. Because like I remember I was driving this car. I had a Chevy Nova. That was my first car, right? So I'm driving through Rock Creek Park in DC. And as I'm driving down the road, a tree just slowly came down. It's like the tree was waiting for me. The tree was sitting back like, yeah, he come. And the tree came down. And I wasn't upset. I was real calm. In fact, I remember when had some firemen come and everything, and they were like, man, you survived that? I was like, well, yeah. And, you know, they were like, what number you want? What number you got? They were trying to get numbers from me and everything. And they probably played out the numbers I was throwing out too. Look, I'm gonna tell you what, but I was calm. Okay, my car, I found out was total, but what did I do? I was calm. In fact, I was going on a date that night. I was calm. Still went on the date. Still went on the date. You know? Still went on the date. Anyway, right? Afterwards, I actually got a better car. I actually got a better car that lasted me for maybe about 10 years. 10 years. It was a better car. I didn't have to go to the shop as much and everything. But I just stayed back. I was calm. You know? Always stand back. Whenever something comes up, stand back, think about it. Think on this. When I say think on this, think on this. Don't respond right away. Think on this. You know? No matter what I say, think on it first. You know? Don't respond right away. Indeed, let me say something real quick. I was about to end this, but there's been plenty of videos people have responded before watching the whole video. Not just on this channel, but my other channels as well. And then people would come back and say, wait a minute, I should have watched the whole thing. They'll say, well, what about this? And then if they had watched the whole video, I'd usually covered it. I even told people, I said, well, I talked about it at this point. Everything you bringing up, what about this? Yeah, like, hold up. Why don't you watch the whole thing first? And I would tell people, don't comment until you watch the whole thing. Some people, I've seen some content creators actually say that too. Don't comment until you read the whole thing or listen to the whole thing, which is smart. So anyway, though, that's all I have for today. I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.